All right, what's up, everybody? Today I've got my brother Will on, and we're going to do just a video kind of talking about Will's experience starting up his college disc golf team and my experience being on one now for my second year. And with that, kind of how we both started playing disc golf, kind of an introduction to both of us. We're going to title this Fairway Scholars. That's going to be kind of what this is, kind of podcast style, but I'm not sure how many episodes we're going to do. Hopefully, after the tournament coming up this weekend, which we will talk about, we'll get back and check in and do another episode of this. But anyway, first, I'll let Will introduce himself. So, Will, tell us a little bit about you, how you got started playing disc golf, and what led you to college disc golf, and where you're going to college.
Yeah, I'm in college here at Mississippi College. I've been playing disc golf for probably about 3 years now, but I played a couple times when I was a kid with you and my dad, and it was just something we did every once in a while at the parks. And then over COVID, I really got into it. It was one of the few things I could just go out and do and have fun. And I just had my three disc starter set, and I remember buying my first like three premium disc online and getting those shipped in and just learning new disc and how they flew and just kind of different throws. And that's when I really got into it. And ever since then, I've just been growing the bag and learning more, and just starting to play competitive tournaments within the last year.
Awesome. And so now you've started a team at Mississippi College. Tell us a little bit about why you wanted to do that, transitioning from playing casually in high school now to college.
Huh?
Tell us a little bit about like why, when you got to Mississippi College, why did you start the team there? What was your thought process behind that?
I didn't really initially plan to. I knew that I was going to come down here and I was going to enjoy disc golf and keep playing on my own. But actually on move-in day, the way they did it here is like they bring all your stuff up to the room for you. So when we got up here, sitting outside of my room was my main bag, my secondary bag with just some other disc in it, and then two bins worth of disc. And I got moved in and I went over to meet my suite mates. And they both talked about how they saw my disc and they said that they had played before. And they invited me over, they showed me their disc and stuff. And we said we had to go play sometime, and we did. And that was just something we hit off really quickly and enjoyed. Um, Podcast style video. Zach with the big
Yeah, what's up, Drew?
Josh, why
Guest
you
star
using the
Drew,
big man set?
also a member of MC's
Huh?
college disc golf team.
Huh? No, he's doing this more like a podcast style.
Oh, are y'all actually like doing a podcast
That's what we were trying to do.
right now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Am I interrupting?
yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all good. I had to turn the thing because
Same
Blake was
Drew.
during the stud puffins.
Yo, hey,
Martin, charter member of the MC disc golf team. Just
That's
letting you
right.
know.
That's right. That's Drew. Yeah, so well, that's awesome. Y'all definitely I've heard a little bit about y'all's team. I've gotten to play with y'all's team. Seem very solid. One guy I haven't still played with, Tucker. Um, for me, I very similar story to Will. I got into disc golf when I was right after COVID had hit. We started going out and playing with my dad a little bit. Then me and Will, we both picked up our own discs, starter sets, started playing. Got another starter set, had more discs, and just an old Adidas backpack, and really fell in love with it. Once I got to college, I started playing casually with the team here at Mississippi State, but also once they kind of started teaching me how the game actually worked, how to actually throw well, started playing a lot more competitively, and found a spot on the B team and worked my way up, and now have a spot on the A team at Mississippi State. And we've already had a club here for a long time. We have a few national championship titles, not in any of the years that I've been here, but we already had an established club. So with that, we'll talk a little bit about how college disc golf works. It's different from normal events. Usually there's a round of collegiate doubles and there's a round of singles. So your singles round works similar to just a normal B tier, C tier, PDGA style tournament, where you go. It's a sanctioned round, and the only difference is you have a team of four, and at the end of the round, your singles scores for those four players on your team are averaged together, and the average will be so let's say you have two players shoot two down and two players shoot even, then their average for your team would be a one down, and that would be what you go into your collegiate doubles round with. And then the way collegiate doubles round works is you have your four players, and two of them are odds and two of them are evens. So the even team will tee off on all the even numbered holes. So hole 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. And all the odd teams will tee off on holes 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. And after the two people there, let's say on hole 1 on the odd team, they'll both tee off. And then the even pair will choose which of their shots they like better to try to complete the hole. Then they'll both throw, and it goes on back and forth until the hole is completed. Only one person has to putt, and then no matter who finished the hole out, that next either even or odd team will go to the next hole and tee off because it'll be either an even numbered hole or an odd numbered hole. Another big part of college disc golf, at least for the men's division, or I guess mixed division, is that we have bids to the national championship, which is a little bit of a hard concept to understand. But basically, the way the bids work is there's D1, D2, and D3 bids. There's really not D3 bids. You can go and play D3 without having to get a bid. But the bids are like invitations. So if you go and play a regional event, they'll have a few D1 bids and then double the amount of D1 bids. They'll have D2 bids. So if you go to an event like we played at Auburn, they had one D1 bid and two D2 bids there. And if your team gets one of those D1 bids by placing high enough to get one of the bids, so first place would get the first D1 bid, and so on down the line, then you get to play in either the D1 or the D2 national championship. So the D1 is kind of like your top level. That's where all your schools have their A teams playing in if they got that D1 bid. And then D2, you still have to fight for, but that's where you're going to see a lot of your B teams, and then you can send anybody into that D3 spot. So Mississippi State already has our D1 bid. We won the event at Auburn. Mississippi College has not played an event yet, so they're going to be looking for a bid possibly in their upcoming events, which we'll talk about in a little bit. One of those upcoming events, so, is the tournament at Lake Lowndes, which is why we're doing this, which is the Gulf Coast Championships collegiate event. It will be Mississippi College's first event to play together. It's hosted by Mississippi State University. But that's just a conference event, which is kind of a check off of the list to get to go to nationals. You get your bid, you play a conference event. It doesn't matter where you place in the conference event, and you get to go to nationals. So with that, I wanted to turn it over to Will and get a little bit more of an in-depth look into how he started his club. It was a long process that I've heard a lot about, but I wanted him to get to share that. So Will, just talk about a little bit. You talked already about finding some players. So you met, your suite mates played. You had a few other people that you've played with there. But just tell us all about kind of how the process has been since you got to Mississippi College starting your disc golf club.
So yeah, it's been a pretty long thing coming and something I've been working on for a while. I first emailed someone in the sports department and just asked like who would I need to be in contact with about starting a new club or student organization. And they sent me to one of the student organization groups here, and they sent me a form to fill out for a new. So it started out with emailing someone in the sports department, and they sent me over to student organizations, and they gave me a form to fill out on how to start for a student on how to start their own new club. So I filled that out and did all the paperwork with that and turned it in, and have been emailing the guy over that back and forth for a while, but not really much was getting done. And eventually I was just kind of tired of it, thinking of ways to really be able to enter tournaments and get around having to wait for the whole student organization thing to accept our form and all that came with that. And what we figured out with emailing people at the college disc golf website is that pretty much all we had to do was go to our registrar office tell them who our players were, and get them to show that we're actually students here at MC. So
Mhm.
that's what I did. I sent over the roster to them. They stamped it and approved it and sent it in to College Disc Golf, and they approved it, said everything was good. And ever since then, we've just been getting our PDGAs and College Disc Golf renewed. And now that we've done that, we've signed up for our first tournament.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I know you've talked about some people on the school staff not responding to emails and being very slow about that, but definitely got around it. Talk a little bit about y'all's fundraising and y'all's monetary situation because it's definitely very different than us in Mississippi State, but it's something to definitely take note of.
Yeah, so being around y'all at MSU the last couple of years, y'all get hotels paid for, get money for food, all this kind of stuff. Y'all have a lot of club members, and their club dues goes pretty much towards y'all top players that actually get to go to tournaments. And we don't have that. Even if we did get approved by the school, we would get zero funding. So pretty much everything has had to be on us.
Can I interject real quick? It
Yeah,
should be mentioned, y'all only have an A team. Y'all have four
yes.
players. Y'all have
We
two
have
players that
four
are kind
roster
of
players.
alternates, but y'all have four rostered players, and that's it. All right,
Yes, that's
continue.
it. But yeah, so we have zero funding, and I didn't know what to do. We had to have money and didn't want to pay it out of pocket. So I just set up GoFundMe, posted it on my account, got the other guys to post it on theirs, and so far within about the last month or so now, we've raised $480 through that. Mainly a lot of family giving, but also family, friends, church members, people like that. And then recently, within this last week, we had one of our local minis back home. They hosted the mini and just said, whatever people bring and donate, we'll give to y'all. So that was another $130 that got donated to us last week at
Mhm.
the Boonville mini. So with that money, right now we're able to cover our Starkville expenses to play y'all's tournament, our Jonesboro entry fee and travel for that, and that will probably, if we do get a bid, we have some money to go towards a start at nationals.
Awesome. And y'all are not doing any hotels so far, right? Y'all have two
Yeah,
tournaments
so
planned,
far,
and you don't have
no.
to use a hotel yet.
Yeah, so far next weekend we're coming down to Starkville and staying with people there. And then right now our plan for Jonesboro is to take one of our members' little pop-up campers and just camping during Jonesboro for the 2 to 3 nights we'll be there.
Awesome. Well, that's definitely a cost efficient way to do it. Um, So yeah, that is a little bit different than our club team. So like I said before, we have a few national titles under our belt. The school does help us out a little bit. We have several sponsorships. Like the school doesn't really give us money for food. That usually comes from our sponsorship, which we are sponsored by Chick-fil-A, only team in the country to be sponsored by Chick-fil-A. So that's pretty cool. Um, we do have, the assistance from the school. We do have a full club, so we've got probably about 20, 25 players in the club, and then we have an A and B team, which is four on each, and we have about 10 players that on any week could be switched in and out of those spots for that A and B team, and we also have a women's team. Um, but we take up club dues. We get jerseys that like I just paid for a jersey out of pocket because we wanted a second jersey for the season. Um, a lot of that stuff, we do hotels, and that does come with being a little bit bigger, taking a bigger group. But I think the way y'all are doing it is really good, really cost effective, um, and hopefully y'all have some money left over going into the next season. I looked it up also. If anybody is watching this, if we get this video out, the GoFundMe is Mississippi College Disc Golf Team. That's all it is if anybody wants to donate anything to that. So like we said, we're going into Lake Lowndes this weekend. That's where we're playing. We're going to be playing the long layout for singles and one round of collegiate doubles on a mix of longs and golds. So how does y'all's team being new first tournament? How do y'all feel about the weekend?
Going into it, I'd say we feel pretty good. Mainly, more than anything, we're just excited to get to play after this long process. And we've played in the same tournaments before, but pretty much all of us are different divisions. So I think it'll be good to take all those casual rounds we've played together and get to have a tournament setting with it. Also, just kind of looking at our team versus y'all's team and then the other teams that'll be there. Uh, our four players, we've played a combined 31 tournaments in all. I added up y'all's top four from Mississippi State A team, and y'all have played 112 tournaments.
Hmm.
Y'all definitely have more tournament experience, and two of our four guys have under five events played. So I wouldn't say like we're the underdogs by any means, but I think that people aren't really expecting a whole lot out of us, maybe. So we're just excited to get out there and play. And after the video you posted of the layout, I'm the only one that have played it, but the other three haven't. So after looking at that though, and knowing the way our four play, I think it'll line up pretty well for us.
Awesome. Um, so y'all were not familiar, I guess, really with the college doubles format. Have y'all practiced that a little bit? Have y'all played um, like on teams? Have y'all figured out who's going to be paired with who yet? Do y'all have any of that figured out?
Like I said, we've played a lot of casual rounds together. I would say more than anything, me and Christian have played together a lot, and then we've also played with Drew a lot. Tucker, he's a pre-med student, so he doesn't have a whole lot of time to get out and play.
Hmm.
And when he does, it just schedules don't really line up the best. But our four, we all play with very different styles. Tucker, he can absolutely bomb, and he also loves like tight wood putter courses, which is a lot of what Lake Lounge seems to be. Um, Christian's predominantly forehand. He has a pretty good backhand too, but he's just really reliable for those 250 to 350 foot, just straight forehands that fade at the end, which is also a lot of holes. And then Drew can throw far. He's good in the woods. He can putt, everything combined. And then I'm kind of right there with it. I'm just a good overall mixture, but I just don't have as much distance. So I think we have a good spread. And the way we're thinking of it right now is putting Tucker, who is probably our most consistent, best player all around, with Christian, just because it kind of covers those shot shapes. And then me and Drew, because I really like throwing the forehands, and he can also throw forehand good, but also push those further kind of backhand turnover with drivers that I would usually have fade out on me.
Hmm. Yeah, so I think that's pretty good strategy there. We've kind of got our teams locked in. I think it's going to be me and Reed and Jake and Ryan, like we played at Auburn. And yeah, I agree with you. I think that probably y'all are kind of seen as the underdogs. People don't really know who y'all are. Um, but I've played with y'all's players. I've heard stuff about y'all's players. It seems like a really solid team overall. I hope Lake Lowndes plays to your strengths. I don't think it's really a putter course because we're not shorts, definitely is, but this is a lot of mid-range and fairway drivers, kind of similar to Tiger Creek. Um, so I'll wrap it up with this because I didn't realize this, but this meeting will shut down in like 3.5 minutes. So, what's one thing you're looking forward to the most, and one thing that you're kind of worried about or concerned about the most?
I think overall, we're probably just looking forward to Jonesboro the most. We know that, that's one of the pro tour courses that they go to every year. And ever since we've gotten big into disc golf, just watching those tournaments online and through YouTube and all that kind of stuff is really cool. And then not only getting the opportunity to play it, but to play it together as a team, to represent our school is really cool. And then I would say the thing most worried about is maybe say we do play really good and get that bid at Jonesboro, just finding the money for nationals because that alone is 125 a person to
Mm-hmm.
sign up, and then
And
10
then a lot
hours
of cost on
travel
top of
each
that.
way. Yeah, and then probably 5 or 6 nights worth of hotels.
Yeah,
And then also
and
just having to miss class and all that.
yeah, and like you said before, it's y'all's first year. There's no shame in getting a bid and not going to nationals. I think it'd be really cool, but you know, if if y'all can just take this year, kind of get the club really started, get some tournament experience under your belt. Especially y'all are all freshmen too, right? Maybe not
Mhm.
Tucker. Is Tucker
Yeah,
freshman?
all freshmen.
All of y'all are freshmen, so that's a really big spot for your team to be in. So yeah, y'all start figuring out a way for like the finances to kind of handle themselves. I think y'all will be doing really well. Um, yeah, so that's super cool. I'm glad we got to talk over a lot of those points. Glad y'all are feeling pretty good about the weekend. Y'all are coming up Friday to play a practice round, and our team will probably be out there practicing also on Friday, so we might even get to do a little scrimmage, or at least we'll get to see y'all before y'all come over here. Other than that, I think that's about all I've got. Again, hopefully we can do another one of these if this works out after tournament. So maybe one day next week, and then also get a little bit more of y'all's look at Jonesboro. But other than that, appreciate you making the time to make the call. Hope y'all do good. Keep practicing hard this week. And with that, we'll see y'all later. This has been the Fairway Scholars, Episode 1.